Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of What's Going On with Swag Her. My name is Tara. I will be your host today. I'm a media personality for Swag Her. So if you're not following them already, what are you waiting for? I definitely encourage you to go follow them right here on Facebook, but as well on Instagram and all of their social media platforms. If you're looking for a great way to market your business, if you're looking for the opportunity to showcase your talent, your business, and all the amazing things that you're doing in the community, I definitely encourage you to inbox Swag Her. Let them know that you're interested to learn more so that you too can showcase yourself, your business, and find your ideal clients on different platforms. We have to be sure that we are spreading our wings wide and that we're putting ourselves in ideal places so that our clients can find us. So my name is Tara again, and I encourage you, if you're not already following me at Fontenot Solutions, where we are your uniquely designed accounting and business operations outsourcing firm for our service-based businesses. We take pride in making sure we give you your time back, helping you skyrocket, increase your revenue, and also helping you improve those internal processes that can help you scale your business and get to that next level. So don't be afraid to reach out to us and don't feel like you have to do this alone. Building a successful business takes collaboration, takes partnerships, it takes support. So let's make sure you're getting what you need. So if you haven't already, grab your tea, grab your pen, grab your coffee. I'm excited about the guest that we have here today. I get to say he today. I think he's my first male interview with Swagger, which makes it even more exciting and lets you know that our platform is expanding, which is an amazing thing. So I want to give you a brief summary of Mr. Cornelius Maxwell. He is an Iraq war veteran, an advocate, a 2021 Academy Award finalist, a public speaker, an author, and still under the age of 40, he is accomplishing amazing things. One of the great things we're going to talk about, which is why I encourage you to go grab your tea, your pen, your coffee, is we're going to talk about his amazing poetry book. It's titled Unapologetically, I Am a Man. Now that title alone speaks volumes, but you have to listen in to learn more about what inspired him to write this book and how it is touching those across the world. So welcome, Cornelius, to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And I thank you for your audience for listening and taking the time to invest their time into hearing our conversation, hear what I have to say. Because it's an investment, and so I'm so honored that everyone is taking the time to invest in Cornelius J. Maxwell. So thank you for having me on the show.
I love it. So please tell us about yourself. I know I gave a little blurb, but let us know where you're from and where you're residing right now.
All right. Well, a little about myself. Like you said, I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I served 3 tours in Iraq. I am the son of a preacher. Some people talk about that a lot. My dad's a minister. My mom's an evangelist, missionary. I grew up in multiple places because my dad was in the military growing up.
Uh,
So, for example, I was born in Kentucky on a military base. We lived in Hawaii. I lived in Mississippi for a little bit, but I spent most of my childhood in Texas. So I grew up in Texas. I went to college in Texas. I even spent most of my military career in Texas. So for me, Texas is home. So,
Texas, I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. So when it comes to your experiences, being in different locations, being in war, that in itself, I know you started to write a book. So was it something you were thinking about in the process, or was it not until you actually was out of the war and out of the army that you decided, you know what, this is the next step that I want to do?
Writing a book, I was one of those nerds in school, right? They like to read a lot. And I really like, even when it came to the game of football, right? I was good at football, but I got into football because I went to the library and bought a book on football and the origins of football, and I started learning all the plays and so I really I was such a nerd to where I took notes and bought a book and took notes on about the game, right? and,
I love it.
and so in doing so, because it shaped a lot about me, right? I always wanted to be an author because I've always was into reading. I love books. And so my entire childhood was like, I'm gonna write a book one day. I'm gonna write a book one day. It was one of those things I told myself I'm gonna do one day.
Right.
And so it just turned out that this year, I've been working on this book on and off about 5 years, unapologetically. I'm a man. I was inspired by Martin Luther King Jr.'s last protest. I am a man. And we're going to get more in detail about that, though, for sure, in the conversation. But, this is just what really sparked the whole idea of me writing a book and then publish it this year on Juneteenth.
I love
And
it.
so,
Because
oh,
the date
yes.
even makes it more memorable. June 19th.
Oh, yes. Because what I want to do is I want to spark the mentality, to release the shackles of slavery, because a lot of times with the Black community, we don't realize we're still slaves, and we don't realize that. And so I really wanted to attack that mentality, because you have the mentality, you are what you think, right? And so I want to really attack that mentality of influencing, and I want to use poetry to plant the seeds of thinking differently. And so that's what was so important to me, and it's so vital because if we start understanding certain thought processes that other cultures have, we can also experience freedom and things of that nature in the same manner which everyone else does. But until we start getting to that point of view, we're still continuing to maintain that slave way of thinking, which puts us into the slave system, So, and like I said, I want better for us. I want better for all people, but especially for those who are oppressed and those who are downtrodden and those who need more assistance than others and things of that nature. So, it was to write this particular book for me. It was challenging because I wanted to hit a market of individuals from a broad age. I wanted young people to read this and say, you know what, I got something out of that. And then I wanted someone who was older than me.
That was my next question. In your writing process, who were you thinking of?
Yes, everybody. So I wanted people of all cultures, all ages to get it. And so in other words, I didn't want to show that I was super intelligent, right, on the topic, but then turn around and make other people feel bad. And I remember this one time, right? I remember being in church and this lady was giving a welcome. And she was talking about how she was so educated and she used all these big words, right? And every other word was a big word and nobody knew what those words meant. So we looked at each other and was like, what's the purpose of that welcome if no one knew what she said? And so in doing so, it's like you got to know your audience. And that's one of the things I wanted to make sure I had an audience where people could understand it. And you may, if you needed to use a dictionary here and there for one or two words, that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do when you get, when you read a book, is learn something. So I put, words here and there, but it wasn't so many of them where you had to stop every other word,
right?
And I wanted to make sure that people really were able to feel what I had to say, see my perspective and see my way of thinking on the specific topics.
So when it comes to the poetry, is it poetry from your heart? Is it a combination, a compilation of different poetries? Kind of where?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. See, I was raised old school. Old school, man, we don't talk a lot about emotions and feelings and stuff like that, right?
That's right.
And I'm one of those old school cats, So my father's been married to my mother for 42 years, and I'm 39 years old. And and this year my grandfather's been married to my grandmother for 70 years. And so, and so, we just had this thing about who we are as men. We don't like to show the emotion side. So for me, this was a huge challenge because this is me stepping out there and I'm letting the world see my emotions and my feelings. So for me, it was a huge challenge because we don't show emotions. I rather, when it comes to emotions, I just say, look, leave me alone. I'm gonna go isolate myself in the corner or something, keep to myself, and don't bother me. Don't say nothing to me. I handle it my way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this and the only time I ever wrote poetry beforehand was like either for a school assignment or for a young lady that I was trying to pursue.
Right.
So, so this is definitely since it's my first book, but it's also a breaking out of my own comfort zone as well.
I was going to say that as a man, this was you stepping out of your comfort zone. And what
Correct.
I like and appreciate is that you acknowledge that it wasn't easy,
Mm-hmm.
but it still did not stop you from creating such a powerful book that you're sharing across the world. So in that
Correct.
5-year process, do you feel that you grew through each stage of it? Was it the experiences in those 5 years that finally, okay, I'm finally ready to complete this? What was your final completion to say, you know what, I'm ready now?
I just think 2020 was just a year. I was just ready. Everything opened up for me. How, the publishing, uh, the even the financial aspect, everything just aligned. The marketing, everything aligned like all at once. Like boom, 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 back to back. Just hey, we're ready. What's going on? Oh yeah, okay, cool, cool, cool. It's just like I just got so inspired. Like this is going to finish. Like God just put on my heart. Like, no, you're finishing this, young man. And it just everything went so fast. It just went so fast.
And this is a
And then I
congratulations
went,
to you.
oh yeah, thank you. And it just went so fast to the point to where I remember I was looking on Amazon and I looked and it's like I looked at their top 100 in African American poetry and I looked and I was like, my book is number 5. And it's like my first week the book was out and I was like, wow.
That
Thank you,
is a huge,
thank you.
especially in this year when everyone feels like everything is so bad and so wrong.
Hmm.
I know that we sometimes have to sit back and just think about, okay, every single thing hasn't gone wrong. There has been some positive. And I think your
Correct,
journey, your story is just a prime example of that. As you say, things just back to back, they just started to align.
correct. And it's just like wow, and it's an honorable experience, right? But it's humbling as well because it's like I prayed about it and I prayed about the message and I prayed that people receive the message,
Yeah.
and so people are doing that because I remember I started writing this book. I just said, you know what? I wrote a poem called "Unapologetically I'm a Man," and it was after I was doing some research on the MLK's last protest, "I Am a Man," and I was just inspired, so I decided to just write the poem, and which I can quote to you right now, as a matter of fact. Which
And before you do that, where can they go
okay.
get the book? Because I know I'm going to grab my copy, but for those who are watching, catching this on the replay, where can they go grab the book?
Yes, they can get on Amazon. Matter of fact, I have a holiday special on Amazon through MLK. So through MLK weekend. So there's a special right now on it. The original price is $20. The special right now is $13.98 for the paperback copy. If you have Kindle, it's $4.99 with Kindle, and of course, it's also on Kindle Unlimited. As well as I have my personal website, mr-maxwell.com. You can get it from there as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you guys are catching this on the replay, thank you for so much and catching the replay and getting to this point to know that you can go grab this book, Unapologetically, I Am a Man. This is for the youth. This could be for your nephew. This could be a great birthday holiday gift. So definitely go check it out. So tell us more about the 5 phases. I know there's a 5 phase that you're working on. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I looked at the poetry book all around. It's about atonement, right? Because we understand that the Christian Bible is utilized for the morals and ethics and values of the United States, right? So I opened it up, because I'm a preacher's son, so that's it's in me, and so and I started understanding the several things that America hasn't done. America has, you can address a wound, but not address a wound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've never dug deep down and addressed the issue of what's happened to the Black community. We've never put ourselves in a position to say, you know what, we can really fix the issues that's in the Black community since America created this issue. And so I really wanted to step down and the last protest really that MLK had really inspired that as well, with the Bible, of course, because I put all that together. I put it all together. And so, and I started thinking, why is it that when he said that I am a man was the reason why he ended up dying, right? And then I remember seeing as well Malcolm X, movie Malcolm X, and I seen when Malcolm X's father said, "I am a man," he ended up dying. And it's like when a Black man steps up and says, "I'm a man," he ends up dying. And
Wow.
so and so I started researching. I started researching how even during the slavery system, they started doing the buck breaking system, and how they will always take the man out the family structure, right? And then when you look at the 1960s, when they said, well, let's introduce the social welfare system, and they took the man out the system. You
Wow.
see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I started realizing when I opened up my Bible, I started realizing the one thing that America hasn't done is atone for this. But at the same time, you take the man out the picture, because what the man brings to the family structure that the woman doesn't bring is the family birthright, the name of the family, the birthright.
Mm.
And so the entire Bible, from the Old Testament to the New Testament, discusses God's birthright for man, which is forgiveness, right? And so forgiveness goes on both sides of the fence. It's either, if you've been wronged, you got to forgive others. And when you're the one who's been wrong, you got to forgive yourself and get forgiveness from them as well. And you have to create systems of healing, which heals a victim, but yet they also establish redemption for the perpetrator, which America's never done. So in doing so, I started thinking, man, and the value of the birthrights, and I started seeing how it is so important. The birthrights are so important. It's what distinguishes man and animal, because animals don't have birthrights in the accordance which we do as humans.
Mm-hmm.
So so it makes me break down the thing when they say, "Oh man, black people are animals." You're saying we're animals because we lack a birthright. You know, they say go back to Africa because we lack the birthright here in the United States. But at the same time, we lack the birthright in Africa as well. So the very thing that they lacked to do was provide us the birthrights. And so that's what my 5-phase plan does, is it provides America the opportunity to atone on a biblical level, but at the same time, it allows America to place us as the black community as equals by establishing a birthright.
Okay.
And so the first phase of that is political influence. I got my bachelor's in political science.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I come from this, and I've stood in front of Congress, spoken in front of Congress before, I've written the bill. And so I say this because I have experience in this as well.
Right.
So I'm not just saying, oh, let's do something, and I'm not practicing what I preach. That's not the case. I practice what I preach on this aspect. And so I believe that we need to acquire political influence, because everyone else has political influence. And the thing is that we don't realize in the black community is politics is also a birthright. Kings became kings because they inherited the right to be a king from their fathers. The same thing with senators. Senators became senators because they inherited that right. So the fact that we don't have that in the black community, don't feel like we belong in politics, lets you know we lack a birthright in that aspect in this country, because again, politics are also birthrights. So the first phase is we get fair representation politically in all three branches of government, because we're treated fairly based upon our birthright. Now, the second phase, it transferred now that we have the political backing and influence. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, right. But if we can actually get things in alignment in accordance, it builds the birthright. And that's what I'm saying. So in doing so, the second phase is economic stability. So now we can invest more SBA programs into the Black-owned business owners, into the Black community, and let them grow jobs in the Black community, right? Because now we have the political influence backing us. Now we have, now we can have the extra loans and the grants and the like I said, those other opportunities that are afforded to everybody else, but not afforded to us. Now they're afforded to us as well. We can grow the jobs in our communities. In doing so, we're creating more taxpayers, right? Which is only sound economics, because now you're creating more taxpayers. The United States can collect more tax dollars from more working people.
That's right.
And that's from the business owner, and that's from the employees that's within the community. Mm-hmm. So now we grow from the economic stability to the third phase, which is education and healthcare. Because these things are paid by taxpayer dollars, we can determine the quality of our own education for our children and the healthcare for our own selves, because these things are also paid through taxpayer dollars. A lot of times you go to the Black community, there's no hospitals there. Why? Because you don't have a lot of people working. They don't have tax dollars in those communities. Same with the education quality. They want, people want to, they got different ideas to help us with the education wise, but if we are not able to fund education in Black neighborhoods and also include the quality of education, what we want them to be taught.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so we can determine that by having more jobs in our communities. And then from there, that'll lead to the fourth phase of the plan, right? But also with the fourth phase of the plan is home and land ownership, right? A lot of people don't understand this, but again, I would rather Black Americans own property than foreigners.
Yeah.
Because, people, you don't have to be an American to buy property. You can be anywhere in the world and buy property, and you don't have to be American. So when you look at things of that nature, it's because now we're able to have home, the job security and economic stability. We're able to afford homes and land, and we're also Like I said, it's sound economics to have, American people who's built into this country and worked in this country to have that property and own that land. And of course, the fifth phase is the birthrights, because now we're able to establish a birthright based upon pride, the pride of our name. They don't have to tell us, oh, well, you're a thug, and we have to believe that. A lot of times you watch the interviews, they say, oh, I have nothing else, because they don't have that birthright. So this provides them that birthright that says, no, you do have something else.
Yeah.
And you have something else to stand on with pride, because your forefathers were able to provide this for you. You also have the ability to have the inheritance from the home and land and financial wealth. You ever have the economic wealth from the jobs, and also as well your political stance.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're able to have a birthright in all these aspects, because the thing is, we don't understand, or that we don't discuss in the Black community, or birthrights and how important they are and how valuable they are.
That's right.
Because birthrights are spiritual. They determine your identity. They determine your economic value through inheritance. And they are, like I said, they're political. And I learned a lot of this in the Middle East, because everything's about their birthright in the Middle East. Everything's about their birthright. And so it is so important to where people live and die for their birthright.
Yeah.
And even when I turned to the Bible, opened my Bible, I realized that when the Hebrews and the children of Israel, when they were out of line with God, their birthright with God, they were slaves. But when they were in line with God, and this is the Old Testament, when they were in line with God and their birthright, they excelled and they were successful and they did well in life. So this is my message to America: is, do we really, being that, this is what we believe in America as being the Christian Bible is the moral authority. Well, this is what it says. Right. And so are we really going to do right by the Black community and atone for it, or we continue to do wrong? And that the scripture says you reap what you sow. The seeds you plant is the fruits you grow. So we can either replace that hatred that's been taught, or we can live it up and let it backfire, because you will reap what you sow, one way or the other.
Right.
So
no, all of what you said is so important. So yes, thank you for explaining and going through those 5 phases. You hit some key words, like you said, inheritance, understanding our birthright. It's our community understanding all of the aspects of that, which is important, because we don't talk about those. Those are not dinner topics. Those are not topics that we're actually sitting our kids down and talking about them with. So for you to bring this forward, it's definitely a great idea and a great platform for the community. So when it comes to Cornelius, what is Cornelius' next step? What are you looking to do next?
I want to educate more on this topic. So I'm kind of diverting, I would say, or transitioning my public speaking to race relations trainer, where I want to go and train more people about this concept and building bridges between the races and individuals and things of that nature. I think that's very vital, very important. Yeah. And because it's a community, America, any country is a community. And so we have to build as a community, one way or the other.
Wow, I love it. You're hitting those topics that many people are afraid to step in. So I don't know. I guess as a man, as a brown skinned African American man, it's definitely powerful to see you in that position, because you're opening doors for others to come join you, to step behind you, stand next to you. So I definitely encourage you to keep going. Your voice is very well heard. You putting the book out there is definitely going to touch many communities, more homes than you probably will know. And I know that's your point of doing it, is to touch those and to get your message out.
Correct.
So any last words? I know those who may be jumping in live, we did share where you can go check out the book, and you can download the book. You can go to Amazon, Unapologetically I Am a Man. You can go get the poem book. I definitely encourage you to gift it. It's definitely a book worth gifting. And please, Cornelius, tell us your website again, where they can go check out your website.
Okay, great. Yes, it's mr-maxwell.com. You can find the book on Amazon. And like I said, it's on Kindle Unlimited. And then one last thing before we take off, I did want to quote that poem, Unapologetically I'm a Man, which inspired the rest of the book.
Yes.
Okay. And it goes, unapologetically, I'm a man. I am made of bone, tissue, flesh, and blood, thus classified biologically to the mammal kingdom. Yet my stature is upright and my posture is strong. It keeps me grounded through treacherous adversity. My voice is deep. When I speak, it roars with authority. Classification by pigmentation has labeled me a minority, restricted from health and prosperity, to quench the sinister desires of the majority. But let this declaration be understood with clarity, that I was created in the image of the Most High, uniquely with originality. I can never be stereotyped due to the authenticity of my individual personality, because I'm proud to be the man God made me to be, unapologetically. And so that's unapologetically, I'm a man.
Cornelius.
What's that?
Yes, that was awesome. Yes, I love it. I can't wait to see the rest of the poems that you wrote. That was great. That was definitely great. I thank you for taking the time to be here and sharing your words, sharing your platform and what you're doing. I look forward to what you have forthcoming. So congratulations again. Um, I can't stand anymore, you guys. Please go check him out. Go check out his website. Go follow him on Facebook. Definitely connect if you're wanting to be a part of this movement. I will call it a movement because I feel that you stepping into what you're doing is definitely a movement. So congratulations again. I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yes, thank you. And I look forward to being in touch with you and your audience and doing wonderful things.
Yes, sir.
So,
Amazing things, amazing things. So you have a great day. Talk to you soon.
all right. You have a great day as well. And thank you again for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right.